Hello, welcome to Freelancers ID. I will be your host and creator of this experience. That's how I'd like to call it. And this is a little bit of an introduction about who I am at the beginning before we start dipping into the actual Freelancers ID system. Freelancers ID? Such a stupid name. Yes, Freelancers ID. Why this name in specific? The idea of each freelancer having his own ID in this world is happening, but we never know how to quantify it. And this is why we came up with the name of Freelancers ID. This freelancing system will take you from A to Z in freelancing. Before I start talking about myself, I'd like to talk about you. You should be a person who wants to experience freelancing, or you already tried in freelancing and didn't find a lot of success, and you want to know how to ace it in a certain platform. Whether that's Upwork, that's Medium, that's Fiverr, other platforms as well are also an option, but specifically for Freelancers ID, for this version of it, we're going to be focusing on those three platforms: Upwork, Fiverr, and Medium. Why specifically those platforms? Because these platforms are the ones that I can tell you about, because I personally found success on those platforms, and that's why I'm focused only on these platforms in this version. Let's get to it. Upwork, more than $100,000. Fiverr, $25,000 in a few months. Medium, $10,000 with no writing experience whatsoever. How did this happen? How did I go from one freelancing platform to the other? I know tons of freelancers who would be on Upwork and stick on Upwork for as long as they could, and they would just find a lot of success on Upwork and get into this comfort zone and never get out of it. This is not what this experience is about. This experience is about knowing what the tips and tricks of a certain platform is. If you're hung up to a few $1,000s, then you could just go to Upwork or Fiverr, and I'm sure you'll be able to find success there if you're only looking to make a few amount of money. However, if you're looking at the big picture, learning how to ace one platform, then jumping to the other, and then jumping to the other, that will make you unstoppable because you'll be able to understand the tips and tricks of each platform. I could do a full tutorial about Upwork. I made over 100,000. I was top rated plus with almost 100% job success score. So I could create a thing where I would just say Upwork is the best. But truth is, Upwork is not the best. Fiverr is not the best. Medium is not the best. The best are always going to be coming. You don't know what's going to be here tomorrow, and you have to be prepared for it. You have to be prepared to forget about all your freelancing experience, to throw away all your records on a certain platform and get ready to move to the next one. And that is the core essence of Freelancers ID. Welcome. Here's an overview of what we're going to talk about in this experience. Excuse me, I don't really know who you are. You're right. I'm Al-Nani, a business consultant freelancer who've been doing this for around 10 years. When I finished my bachelor's of engineering, I didn't want to work in the corporate world. I was afraid of having my own boss. I was afraid of getting into the loop of just depending on my paycheck, and I couldn't help but try to do something else. And this is when I tried to work on my entrepreneurial journey. What I did was I created a startup that helped people in choosing their careers. The success of this startup was more than what I imagined. There was a lot of demand on our product. We had investment offers of more than $100,000, and it was growing really well. But then what I didn't really anticipate is what I would really get from this. What I really grasped from this journey is my experience working in a startup and understanding how to raise investments and understanding what do investors want, what do people want, what does market demand, what does market need. All these information were brand new to me, but I fell in love with entrepreneurship. And this is when it started. I realized that I really need to pay some bills one day or another. And for that reason, the startup's life is not really that facilitating when it comes to that. So what I did was I started freelancing on a website called freelancer.com. I simply started a profile there and just applied to a few jobs and found myself competing with hundreds of people. And I failed instantly, got demotivated, closed freelancer.com, never opened it again, and just thought that this is never going to work out. But then a year later, I thought I would give it another chance because I know this freelancing world is evolving day after day. So what I did is I tried some new website called Upwork. I remember there was something called Elance, and they merged with another company to create something called Upwork, so I thought I would give it a shot. I started a profile there as a business consultant, providing business plans, pitch decks, things that I really know how to do, but also that I don't know how to do, because truth is, I didn't have a master's degree in business or anything around that, but I had my experience working in my startup. So then I hit it off in Upwork and started to see how it's going to look like. How I started is I created a perfect proposal saying all my experiences and everything, sending it to all the clients that I saw, around 50 that I saw on Upwork, and I was happy and I was just waiting for more responses because I had none. The next day, I finally received an email, but it was from Upwork telling me that I'm banned forever because I'm not allowed to send that much proposal because people are not wanting my services and Upwork doesn't want that anymore. So I was indefinitely banned from Upwork. At least this account was. So I created a new account. Easy. And then I started really thinking, it makes sense, If I'm sending a copied proposal to clients, to people wanting to create their business plans, wanting to rely on my services, how is that going to work out? It's not personalized. It's not really going to work out. So I created proposals that are tailored to each and every startup. I talked from the heart. And when that happened, I got my first job. The first person started to talk to me and he showed interest and it hit me. I could actually make money from freelancing. This could actually work out. The moment this client sent me a contract for $30, which was almost nothing, meant everything to me because this meant that freelancing can work out for me. And if I can make $30, then I can make 300, then I can make 3,000, then I can make 30,000. And this is exactly what happened. So I worked on Upwork, got into my own bubble and comfort zone of Upwork, created a lot of jobs, worked on a lot of jobs, and made thousands and thousands, $100,000, became top rated plus, and had a job success score of 100% at a certain stage. And this was it. I was very satisfied. I was closing in maybe $6,000 or $7,000 a month, and I'm just upgrading every month. Why would I want to change that? And then something happened that made me create this. This, why I'm talking to you right now, is not because I made $100,000 in Upwork, it's because of what happens next. I've written an article about this, and you should give it a read if you have time. Upwork then asked me for a refund of around $13,000, and according to their terms, it is all legal. What happened was, there was a client on Upwork using someone else's credit card, and he paid me through it. Now the bank is asking for the money back, and well, it's not Upwork's problem. But is it my problem? It also is not my problem. I worked really hard for this money. With this guy, I worked for over 2 years. It's a very big story. Read about the article if you want all the details. But what I realized from this is I cannot rely on Upwork. Heck, I cannot rely on any freelancing platform. So I thought maybe having a job is the perfect thing to do. But then COVID happened and a lot of people lost their jobs there. So that also is not really a safe option, is it? At this stage of my life, I was closing in on a $0 in my bank account. I was almost bankrupt and I had a lot of costs going on and I didn't have freelancing on Upwork or any job on Upwork and I didn't have any job in real life. So I started applying for some jobs, to get any of the bills paid. I applied to a lot of jobs, over 100 jobs, with no replies whatsoever until I knew what the right thing to do was. What I gained from Upwork is not the $100,000 they paid me. It's really how I got to the $100,000, how I was in this entrepreneurial and freelancing jungle, and how I was able to stand out. And if I was able to stand out on Upwork, then I'm able to stand out elsewhere. And this is where I use the tips and tricks, the right things to do and the wrong things to do, how I position myself, how I'm playing this sales game to work it out on Fiverr, Medium, and other freelancing platforms in the future. And this is why I'm talking to you right now. The secret is not succeeding in one platform, is understanding how to succeed on a platform, squeeze the hell out of it, and if it ever screws you over, or if you feel that you don't want to do this anymore, then you immediately move on. So I started freelancing on Fiverr, and after a while I noticed it is also very competitive, but it's very close to Upwork. So I did my same techniques on Upwork. And in around 6 months, I started getting contracts for big amounts, for $2,000, for $2,500, and I was satisfied with Fiverr. But I will never do the same mistake of relying on Fiverr 100%. Heck, Fiverr has also a more strict customer service than Upwork. So I don't want to do that. So I applied to being a partner in the partner program of Medium. But Medium is a writing website. I've never written anything in my life except business plans for investors, which is not really anything people would want, the average people would want to read. So then I didn't know what to do. But that didn't stop me. I gave it a shot. I said, okay, you know what? I have such a big love for entrepreneurship and I want to give it a shot. So let's do that. So I started writing on Medium. And then I noticed some of my articles are gaining a lot of traction. Some people are actually liking it and commenting on it. It's actually working out. And this was the same feeling that I had when I signed those $30 for my first contract on Upwork. I used this. I grasped it and I used it. And from this, I grew to a 5 times top writer on Medium and earn more than $10,000. And now I just earn a few thousands every month. Who knows how the progress is going? If you really want to see what my progress and updates in terms of earnings are doing, I'm very transparent about it. Follow me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on TikTok. I say all these things there. And my website as well if you wish to read more about it. This whole experience led me to realize why I had to create this Freelancers ID system, because the key word in freelancing is diversification. If you diversify your freelancing, then you're unstoppable. You have to diversify your income streams. You can't rely just on Upwork. You can't rely just on Fiverr. You can't rely just on LinkedIn. Whatever it is, you need to diversify all your income streams, because another pandemic could occur. Another disaster or recession could occur, and one of those companies could go bankrupt at any moment and just kick you out of their program. That's it. You're done. If you're only relying on it, then you're absolutely done. But if you made your backup, then you're good to go. And you can jump into the next freelancing platform, to the next endeavor, entrepreneurial journey, whatever it is, you're ready for it. Okay, that's a lot of talk, but let's move on to the real thing. So Freelancers ID, what's it about? The whole experience is about focusing on those 3 platforms, Upwork, Fiverr, and Medium. And in case you want to just focus on one of them, then you can do that. You can skip the other 2. That's also okay. You have to be very passionate about what you're doing, and you have to give it good time. And if you don't, if you think, oh, you know what, I'll just start a Medium account as well, might as well make some money there, that's not going to work out. You have to feel it. You have to really be dedicated for it. So this system's vision is simply that, you know what, I'm not going to show you a boring PowerPoint and just tell you, okay, in order to be a good freelancer, you need number 1, to believe in yourself. Number 2, to believe in yourself more. Those things simply do not work out. They're in a utopian world, and we are not in a utopian world. So what you need to do is follow what I will say in this experience, add to it a little bit of persistence and devotion over a good span of time, and you're very good to go. Okay, so let's start with the essentials. The absolute essentials of Freelancers ID are a few things that I will state out in this video, and this is for any freelancer alive. Number 1, you have to have a goal. While this sounds generic, oh, you have to have a goal, really? You do have to have a goal, because if not, if you're like, yeah, I want an extra revenue stream just to buy a Tesla or something, so might as well just, try showcasing my experience on Upwork. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. This is a recipe of failure. You have to have a very good and strong goal. This goal, the stronger it is, the more reason you have to succeed. For example, I had this goal of not wanting to get into the corporate life because I was scared of it. Fear, that was my goal. I mean, it was my motivation towards my goal. So then I succeeded in not 1 freelancing platform, but 3, because I'm afraid of going on that side. So find your thing. It doesn't have to be fear, obviously, but find your motive of why you're doing this. Whether it's safety, whether it's you pursuing a passion that you're not pursuing in real life. Whatever the goal is, the stronger it is, the better to move on to the next stage. Now that you have a goal pinned in front of your screen, wherever you're working, put it in your wallet, put it on your laptop, put it on your phone background. I don't care. Whatever it is, it has to be on top of your head at any moment of the day. Once you have that, if there is a make or break in this whole situation, that's one word, which is persistence. Some people feel persistent in their stubbornness. I want to eat a pizza today and I will eat a pizza today. And I'm stubborn, I know I will do it. That's one sort of persistence. But the persistence you need in freelancing is like 100 times this persistence. you will see failure. You will see failure in the eyes and tell failure, I will keep doing this. I will keep doing this now. I will keep doing this forever. It absolutely does not matter to me what you do. You do not decide whether I am a good freelancer or not. A client will send you a bad review. You will accept this review. You will learn from it. And then you will tell this client, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. And actually think of it, not just saying, oh, thank you very much for your feedback. I will work on it. And just go in your mind, in your deep mind, go like, oh, he's just an annoying client. She's just an annoying client. They just don't know how it works. I know how it works. And, it could have been better, but I'm really good. No, you're not. It's easy. You're not. If people are saying you're not, then you could be not. That's not what's important. What is important is what you will become. So you can tell yourself you're not a good freelancer now, and you can tell the client that is sending you a bad review, thank you very much for your feedback. I will learn from it. And that's what you will do. You will come a year later and tell them, thank you for this feedback. You know what? Right now, I'm a million times better than how I was before, and I'm ready to take it on. I didn't become a successful freelancer in Upwork because of my talent. Heck, I was just new at this job, and I was new at this career. I became successful because of my determination and my love for entrepreneurship. Someone tells me a word that I don't understand. I honestly tell them I don't really know what you're talking about, but I go study the hell out of it. I read a book, an entire book of it. It doesn't matter to me. It's not going to stop me. And that's what you should do. You should have a certain persistence that nothing would stand in your way. Your friend telling you, go get a real job, you go get a real job. That's not your problem. Tell them to go away. What you need to do, put a plan and stick to it. If you said you're going to try freelancing for 6 months, then do not be lazy in 3 months. Don't think like, oh, well, I've been trying it for 6 months, so now it's been 3 months and we have no results. I feel that deep inside me, I feel that it's not really going to work out. So I would just become lazy now and wait for the 6 months to finish, and then at least I honored my agreement. No, you have to give it 100% each month. If there is a moment that you feel demotivated at any of this time span, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, that's up to you. But if there is a moment that you felt demotivated, this doesn't count from the 6 months. You pause the time until you get motivated again, at least until you do what you have to do to give this the absolute maximum in order for you to continue and say, okay, I tried very hardly with my heart for 6 months and it didn't work out. And in this case, you could move on. But truth is, the majority of freelancers do not last that long. They give up sooner because someone else offered them a job, because something else popped up, because their love for this thing was not that strong. Yeah, I wanted to be a graphic designer, but I had a lot of negative feedback. And now I just feel that maybe I'm not a good graphic designer. Truth is, maybe you're not a very good graphic designer. Maybe this is not for you. But you should give it the maximum you could, and only then will you be able to assess that. Keeping in mind that talent is something that you learn in time, especially in freelancing. The majority of the top freelancers on Medium, the top freelancers on Medium or the top writers on Medium started not knowing how to write. And when I look at the writing, it's not that good. But they know how to be persistent and learn how to improve. So if you saw their first article compared to their last article, something changed in the process. They pass through what I call the Freelancers ID system. And when you do that, this learning curve over time, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to ace. And once you do that, there's no stopping you. So we're done with what I like to call the intangible assets, which is having a goal, and persistence, having persistence. This is something from within. It's not really tangible because you can't really touch it, obviously. So let's move on to things that you are supposed to do right now